You're watching Weirdo Universe. The wonders take flight. Is it on?
Major.
This is Weirdo Universe, a late edition of Weirdo Universe, Sunday evening. And the only thing we're talking about really is about Comic Con. And Marvel has revealed new things. But the most important news of all, we have finally the Black Panther has been chosen. Or at least the prince of the one Black Panther is chosen, and that is, do you know the name?
I think it was David Johnson.
Yeah, but we have a new Black Panther though. It's been revealed. We, that's the person. And what do you think?
I'm curious, but I'm also a little concerned about how this is also going to affect Shuri. Because as we know, since Wakanda Forever, Shuri has taken the mantle of Black Panther. So is she gonna like slowly transition out of it and give her nephew the mantle and the throne, or I'm curious on how this is gonna impact her and M'Baku. Because again, also at the end of Wakanda Forever, M'Baku is the current king of Wakanda. So I'm intrigued on how they're gonna play this out. Also, are they going to introduce him in Doomsday or what? Like, I'm curious.
Sorry, I'm just doing a little quick research. Just getting some facts here. For example, Shuri will no longer have to carry the entire weight now to protect Wakanda alone as the sole Black Panther.
Okay.
So I think with David Johnson being the older of Prince T'Challa,
I
um,
wonder if they're planning to make them both be Black Panther like the way they have T'Challa and Shuri in the comics.
well, because
Because
this for
they
the other,
do have like some comic panels with T'Challa and Shuri both in their own suits while also, I guess, protecting Wakanda. So I'm curious if that's the route they're going to go with that then.
well, looking at the looks like the plot shift is that Shuri's personal arc will evolve raw grief from the Wakanda Forever into a position of scientific and political leadership along the new mantle.
See, I also have a crazy, insane theory regarding Wakanda Forever. And I think I might wait a little bit so we can get through the announcements from Comic Con.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's gonna probably blow your mind. Come on, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, it's
It's
been a
definitely gonna make
while.
you think.
It's been a while, so it might be like interesting to what you have thought of. On to other news. We have a new Ghost Rider, a mantle that's quite hard to try to overcome. But they have picked their actor, and that is the one and only,
Ryan Gosling.
yeah, Ryan Gosling, a Canadian actor, to be a Grim Reaper of Death of Marvel.
It's
Interesting.
interesting how you get that actor going from the Barbie movie with Ken into Marvel and as a character such as Ghost Rider of all people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming he's going to be playing Johnny Blaze.
Okay.
I'm going to assume that, and I'm only saying that because there's like hundreds of different Ghost Riders. Because I mean, you got obviously Johnny Blaze, you got Robbie Reyes, you got um, Frank Castle even at one point. You got, let's see, um, is it? I don't want to say it's John, but it's oh no, Carter Slade, and then the list just goes on. Yeah, I mean, there's just a long list of Ghost Riders, and this isn't just also like in one universe. This is, I think, like multiverse wise. So I don't know, but I'm intrigued on how that's gonna work. I am curious on how Ryan is gonna do his betrayal for whichever Ghost Rider. Again, I'm going to assume it's gonna be for Johnny Blaze.
Yeah, well, I'll just do a quick research. Not yet confirmed, but that might be the approach. We'll find out.
Did you also know comic Johnny Blaze? If this is the route that they're planning for Ryan Gosling, comic Johnny Blaze is blonde.
Makes sense. Why go? Might as well pick Gosling for that. So,
Yeah. So, and I'm only bringing that up because I've noticed a lot how Marvel is going with a lot more comic accurate routes, or at least comic adaptations, at least. Because with Doomsday and Secret Wars, they've mentioned that this is the storyline for these two films are based off the Secret Wars comics.
mhm.
So we are supposed to be getting Battle World eventually.
Okay. I mean, since you mentioned that, of course, the creators of these Avengers movies didn't say, not confirmed, but like he didn't say like it's happening or not happening on that of the wars. So we'll see down the line. Um, Other news: the mystery of Captain America. Well, as we know, the Doomsday trailer. We'll have our thoughts on that shortly. Of of seeing Cap with his smirk or his evil smirk. But
There's a lot of theories going
a
around about
lot of
that scene,
theories
by the
going
way.
on. People assume the way he looks and wearing the black attire. Sometimes I think, oh, we finally got Captain Hydra.
Hmm.
But the new Captain America had a quick talk, and he speculated, or he felt like it was true, of being Nomad.
That's true. Anthony Mackie did say that they. Well, it's not that he confirmed it. It's something that I respect him for this, by the way, because he knew exactly that there was going to be a lot of people that were like going to be like, "Oh yeah, I've read the comics. I've read the comics. I know what this is." And just like, okay, if you haven't read the comics, then you wouldn't know this. But he goes into a little bit about how in the comics there's a section where Steve Rogers goes by the name Nomad. And this is a lot of speculations have assumed from that title back in Infinity War because of how he didn't have the star on his chest, his colors to his suit was faded, he didn't have the Avengers logo on his or the Avengers patch on his suit.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people were speculating during Infinity War was that he was already going by Nomad. I'm curious though if that was just only the starting point for that mantle, but I also don't think that was the case. I
Oh,
just think during Infinity War, after the events of Civil War his and Steve and his little team, I guess, um, were just trying to do the right thing as what the Avengers were created to do. But I'm now curious on if they do plan to go with the Nomad route, how that could be a potential interesting arc for Steve during Doomsday and Secret Wars.
mhm.
Um, but we'll see.
I don't know why. I thought it'd be kind of funny if it's actually Loki.
See, that's one of the theories that started popping up recently was that they think that maybe it's Loki in disguise as Steve. Because I guess they are saying that because the way he looks at Mjolnir after he wields it is like, oh, I'm worthy. Oh right, okay, yeah, it's me, and like try to play it off with like a smirk towards Thor. And I think another like reason why they're thinking it's Loki is because of the way that his final words to Thor in the beginning of End or not Endgame, Infinity War about how the sun will shine on them again. And you get in the background after the whole Mjolnir test, there's a sun shining through the window
Hmm.
on both of them. So there's a lot of speculations going around for a lot of different potential things regarding Steve in this scene. So I'm very curious on how they're gonna play that out. I think it would be really interesting to have it be Loki, and the only reason why is because um, at one point during his arc as the God of Stories, or at least I think that's like his kind of further more or final like title or something. I don't remember how the comics go around about that, but um, in the comics, Loki as God of Stories does end up wielding Mjolnir. I don't remember how they do it, but he does have like there's a whole picture you guys can look up, and it's him kind of like flipping Mjolnir in midair and getting ready to catch it. Like it's so interesting to see that because of how Loki is. But because of the fact that at the end of season two for his own show, he does make a huge sacrifice. You do see that he changes from when he leaves and joins, or not joins, but when he first arrives from at the TVA to him going to take the throne and hold the multiverse together. I think it's really interesting the way that they might do that. Also, going into Captain Hydra, there is a reason why he's also worthy of Mjolnir, and it's not in the way you think.
What would that?
Basically, huh?
What would that be?
So okay, you know how in the first Thor film, when Odin banishes Thor to Earth or Midgard, I guess you want to be if you want to be technical, and then like does that little enchantment
Yeah.
about Mjolnir. There's I don't remember who does it, but there's an enchantment that happens on Mjolnir to make Captain Hydra worthy, and there's a comic panel you can look up where instead of saying it has, I think, like the basic like wordings for the enchantment, but instead of it ending off with the name Thor, it's Hydra. So it's literally like Captain Hydra basically gets worthy of Mjolnir only because somebody causes an enchantment onto it to make him worthy. So people are speculating that for Doomsday, there, if it is Captain Hydra, Doom has maybe caused an enchantment on Mjolnir somehow, and have it where this way he can build trust with the Avengers and the Fantastic Four and the X-Men through Captain Hydra by pretending to be their Steve Rogers.
Okay.
Which would be interesting, but I'm not quite sure if Doctor Doom is technically the bad guy in this film.
See, that's what I was kind of want to get into because that's what a lot of people are speculating. And let's just get right to it. So the Doomsday trailer came out, and I hate to say this, but it feels rushed. It doesn't feel like it's finished. It's almost like another teaser in a way. Because if you think of how it kind of starts, you get the whole, you see Xavier seeing the two multi-Earths collide and pretty much get destroyed. And then it goes fast forward. We get to see the good old Doctor Doom. And you hear, what do you think of his voice acting?
Actually, I'm kind of impressed. I saw a clip of the whole Comic-Con with RDJ going from, like his usual voice
Mm-hmm.
into the accent. And I was impressed at how well he did that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm more intrigued at the fact that they're giving Doom an accent for once. Because in a lot of like shows and a lot of like of the previous films, we never really have had Doom have an accent.
Yeah, like so.
And the fact that he's like on the side of the world closest to the Black Sea, you would assume people from that area of the world would have an accent. So the fact that we're getting that in portrayal for Doctor Doom this time, I'm very intrigued on how that's going to play out. I also know people are going to be very, very conflicted, as more so than what they have already have been since RDJ was cast as the character. Um, but I don't know. I'm enjoying it so far. It's growing on me.
Like I
I
feel
kind of
like
like it.
a lot of people are speculate. Another speculation where people are realizing just how the trailer showed. It's actually kind of more. It feels like Doctor Doom is going to give him a bargain, and who's going to accept. Because
I'm
if you think of
Go
it,
on.
we get Gambit versus Shang-Chi or
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. You're like, well, that's weird. Awesome fight, interesting fight, but weird. Why are those two fighting it out? And then, of course,
We're also rumored to have like a fight between Nightcrawler and Reed Richards.
and we got that whole thing. I mean, I don't think I. But I don't know. It's just like the way it was just going. Like I loved it. I like the trailer, but it almost felt like I know I get Dune Part 3. They've been spamming the trailers for like the past like 3 months now. So they just feel
Give
like
or
might
take.
as well get Doomsday in there. But it's like with Dune, that's a full trailer. For some reason, with this one, it was good or okay, but it almost felt like rushed. Like it looked like it was like we're watching a teaser because we got the cool part of Thor with Mjolnir, and of course Dune's. People thought he was just grabbing with a finger. No, he was just doing magic to like withstand it and just like held it in place.
Dude literally did 2 fingers and was just like, no.
But anyway, it feels like what because we know we're getting the next Avengers in 2 years from this. So I have a feeling this one.
Actually, I think they said that Secret Wars was going to be like next year.
No, I think what you're right. I think it is next
At
year.
some
But anyway,
point.
I feel like this one is like because you might know more about this, and people are speculating or hoping it could happen or probably not. That as we know, Doctor Doom in the comics kind of I don't know much. I'm not a comic nerd as he is.
Oh, are you getting ready to talk about the where he becomes like God Emperor Doom?
Well, yeah, well, not God Emperor Doom, but there's some place I guess he once held, or like a king of sorts. It starts with a T, I think. Try like a
T.
TR or a Trierne or to or TI. But there's like a place in the comics where he's kind of like you say Emperor God or like a king. So a lot of people are worried that like are they going to go that approach where like he's going to try to recruit these Avengers that's just mostly just mercenaries and let him join him. Then in the next film, we get Deadpool, we get Spider-Man, we get the usual we know best, and then we get the war, and then that either just clears that just boom done, and then on to
Well, see, I also think there was something that I watched from a reel, I think like yesterday or something, and it was talking about how Doomsday itself, like the title name, is a it's a double standard. And the reason why is because in the comics, Doom is, yes, a villain, uh, but he's also not like other villains. Because everything that Doom does is technically for really the betterment of the world. So I think they started talking about where, like, they think that the reason why the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, and the X-Men are going to all be fighting is because they are going to be left with doing a certain with going against their morals to save their universe. Because for an incursion to happen, it's basically they explain this also very well, both in the comics and in the movie, and in like the Loki series, in I want to say a little bit in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and maybe like one other thing. But they explain that in order to save their world, they have to basically let the other one die. So they're speculating that in Doomsday, they're not really trying to fight Doom until like maybe the very last like final act of the film, give or take, for where he ends up winning regardless to set up Secret Wars. I think it's basically where Doom is trying to collect artifacts and whatever to basically maybe save his universe. We don't know exactly what universe this Doctor Doom is from. We know that there's 3 Earths
since
already.
since you mentioned that actually, there's an image, maybe a poster that
Hmm.
shows Doom, and there's a mural. And if
Yep.
you look closely, and it looks like you know what I'm talking about here, if you
Yep.
look closely, on the right, you get the Iron Man who did it all, saved his life for that
Yep. The snap.
the
Yep.
snap. And then you got on the left, which I don't know, it showed him, but there's something else on the left that's like
Yeah.
Tony.
they're not very clear on who exactly is like
We know on the
the
right,
one on the
it's
left.
yeah,
It's
we don't know.
on
Yeah,
the right. It's definitely Tony in Endgame, do, like doing the snap and everything. You also see a section a little above Doom or closest to the like center top of the mural of what appears to be like a kingdom, and that's people are speculating that could be Latveria because
right.
that is where what
It'll be funny.
what
Let's just say, what if Doctor Doom was in a prison and his own variant set him free by dying?
I don't know. Only because they've confirmed a while ago that this isn't a variant of Tony.
This is
This
just
is Doctor Doom.
this is just Doom at itself.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because of the fact that
I just thought the green. I thought the time stone be like he was trapped in there since he loves thinking about time and calculations. So it's like, huh? Maybe he's just like he's literally like the time stone as itself, as a moral human.
um I'm curious on what how they're gonna play his origins. I am
I mean, it would be cool if they somehow did the Thanos thing, but I don't think we're gonna get there.
um
But while you think on that, let's get some humor in this, and maybe speculations once more. As we know, in the Comic Con, there's one person we love to see on the big screen, but he's not on this, and that is good old Deadpool. And Ryan Reynolds came in dressed as a certain type of suit, type
yep.
Deadpool, that's inspired by the comic books of the Uncanny X Force. And as some people maybe know best, there's only one person that actually can kill this guy, and it's not a Thor or a Hulk. I think I learned they actually got fired from Marvel or something. I might be wrong though. Don't count my
I
word.
don't know because if
Oh,
he got fired, I don't think because you're talking about Mark Ruffalo.
yeah,
Yes. If that was the case, I don't think he would have been in Brand New Day.
it won't be a brand new day unless maybe something happened after brand new day. Who knows? But
Maybe.
anyway, but I thought it was funny because in he made an appearance in the audience doing his known best cheesy, weird lines he has and the way he speaks. But what did you think? What is the speculation on him wearing a specific color suit?
I think okay, so there is I did go through I okay, sorry. I have been doom scrolling a lot lately. Ironically enough, yes, I
Yeah,
said doom scrolling.
I got the spamming for every like 2 hours,
Yeah.
30 minutes.
But there was one post I think that I found um talking about how there might be a whole different team that is not involved in this movie.
Okay.
We also so basically I'm not sure if this is the case or not, but I've heard that, or at least people started speculating that Ryan Reynolds, by doing what he did at Comic Con, is going to be a part of this resistance in Secret Wars to go against Doom. And part of it, I think, might be the Uncanny X Force. And I think we are going to be probably getting Logan again.
Well, I've heard you think he's going because I've heard I don't know, and I don't know. Of course, I don't think it's going to be the guy that's been portraying it for the past like decade. I don't think it's him. It could be Henry Cavill since he did a small appearance with that variant. So maybe they do some kind of coalition with that because Deadpool is having a movie. So maybe it's just going to have to like tie it into that. So
I would be interested to see Henry Cavill as like a Wolverine variant helping out.
Did you
I
figure when
think
he
that would
made
be
an
kind of
appear
interesting.
when he made that appearance in the recent Deadpool movie, that's saying something.
I I also just think that was just kind of rage baiting the audience because
Probably.
we know that Ryan Reynolds loves to make these little like cameos or stuff like that. Because I mean, he's a whole ass comedian. That's the whole point why he works so good regarding the character Deadpool is because he's basically the real version of the character. I think he got Henry Cavill to do the little cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine because a lot of people were fan casting Henry Cavill as the next Logan.
Hmm.
So I think that was the reason why like his reaction or like Deadpool's reaction in the film was like, oh, and was like trying to like convince him to like have him like Henry's Wolverine join him on saving his universe because he was one of the big fan casts of Wolverine. So I mean, I think it would be really interesting if they did like bring obviously like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and then bring in another Wolverine variant as Henry Cavill, and then you could potentially see about like maybe having a whole like maybe a little transition for like a new for somebody to take the role of Wolverine, kind of like a transitioning point, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, Only reason why I say that is because um, I am curious on how Henry's portrayal would have been if he had like a longer scene, I guess, or a longer role in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, we'll see when the movie comes out. Um, I mean, so Comic Con. I mean, there's nothing else. All the crew was there. They made the trip to San Diego. Reynolds did his appearance, or his cameo, I could say. Um,
I think there's going to be two deaths in Doomsday.
but yeah, let's think. Yeah, let's think over because I kind of thought the way the trailer went. It's like as we know, the actor he's done after this film, so I'm assuming he's gonna die for them. Just like a good, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, some dialogue, get a little dialogue in, drop some life quotes maybe to get us thinking about our own lives. Um, but I feel like that's how it's gonna kick off, and then of course we got.
Well, I think one of the two people I've speculated about dying in Doomsday is going to be one Thor,
Figure.
because people are saying the amount of screen time he's had in the trailer and the fact that he's narrating like most of it
Hmm. That's
is
usually the case. Yeah.
is usually how they plan to like kill off characters. So I think one, Thor is going to potentially die by the end of the film, and two, I think Toby Maguire is going to die in the first couple minutes of the film.
I saw you send that post. I didn't read it, but you think like maybe in the
So
beginning,
okay,
maybe in the
the
beginning.
incursion that Charles Xavier is watching happen,
Hmm.
you can also see his facial expressions, and it looks discomforting. Like he's, I think, hearing and feeling all of the death that is happening in Toby's universe,
So
in the
you what?
Raimiverse.
So you think that's Toby's universe?
A lot of people have been speculating that that is the Raimiverse, and If that is the case, I think Toby's gonna die. His version of Peter is going to die in Doomsday.
Sorry, close one. Yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, sorry, like, I just like, what did you think? Did you felt when you saw that trailer? I know it was pretty epic. Did you felt like it was rushed? Did it felt like it wasn't like, they've been filming this for months. We finally
I
got
will say
it. Did
I
it?
do think that it was a little rushed, only because of the fact that um that I mean, for a character like Doctor Doom, and especially with how powerful and unique his character is,
Mhm.
um, I I think that it was like you do get a sense of there's like no build up, right?
Yeah,
But what if that wasn't the case?
maybe they'll show in the film, like as an intro. We'll get to
Well,
hear.
there's a whole. I think I sent you a post about how in Age of Ultron there are potential um, a mirrored version of how each character is going to be, like their role is going to be in Doomsday. Um, and if that is the case, that's going to be very interesting due to the fact that um, because then that means that during the Infinity Saga, they've been basically building up Doctor Doom without anybody realizing it. And even if it wasn't like a solid idea plan for them at the time, if they were just dropping little hints about, oh well, this is how this is gonna like kind of build up to this or something later on, because we know that Marvel loves to drop Easter eggs,
Yeah.
and every chance they get, they love to drop Easter eggs. So that I think that is another reason why we're also seeing like in the poster for Doomsday that, like, for example, Thor is having a potential power upgrade. And for those who don't read the comics, as you should, um, and yes, I might be a little hypocritical about that, but that's just because I can't afford comics right now. But or at least do the research, Google it, something, like at least do the research for it before you try and argue with somebody about, oh well, this happened or this happened. Please. Um, Anyways, in the comics, there is a part of Thor's life where he gets the Odin Force, and I think that is what we're going to be getting about midway through Doomsday. I think that's going to be where the scene is where he's praying, basically, because there's a whole section and the whole line where you have Thor kind of like on his knees or something, holding Stormbreaker, and being like, um, "Hear my plea, my ancestors," or what, or however the fucking line goes. But you know what I'm talking about. I think that's gonna be a moment where Odin's like spirit or whatever hears his son and is gonna give him his full power
And it's not gonna
to
do
try and aid
crap.
him. Yeah, I think. Uh, I think if anything, that is also gonna add on to Secret Wars. And if we are getting a comic route regarding Doctor Doom making Battle World, then I think having the Odin Force would be a big help. Because in the comics, Doctor Doom is not somebody you can easily beat. Okay? Like, he's stolen the Silver Surfer's powers, which is the power of Cosmic. He's done that also to Galactus. He's done that to the Beyonder. Um, this dude is not like, I mean, at some point, if you start reading a lot of the comics or you do a lot of research, you just start thinking Doom is not fucking human.
Well, I was kind of thing to be funny here. You just gotta be really dumb against a guy of genius, and that's all. That's his weakness. If you can't know you enough to understand you, then he can't. You can't. If he can't read you, then you have the upper hand. Because if you know, just like with Deadpool, the way he acts, the way he his actions, it's like if you're a smart genius like Doctor Doom, you'll probably be trying to figure out who the heck you're facing. You're like, he's silly, seems dumb,
The
but very right.
interesting thing about Doom is also the fact that, one, he learned magic, and he's also still a scientist. Now, there are some things, I don't know if it's fully true or not, because I haven't fully done the research on it yet. But I've gone through posts where, or I've gone through a post where it said, like, Doctor Doom basically, like, sacrificed his lover, Valeria. I could be butchering that name, so forgive me.
Apologize.
And turned her entire body or whatever into his armor in the
Actually,
comics.
you brought up something.
Mm.
So as we know how Fantastic Four ended, and people assumed it's Doctor Doom. Those
Yeah,
new speculations occurring that that's not Doctor Doom, but I don't know if it's a or variant or something like Scarlet Witch.
see, I'm really hoping it's Scarlet Witch because there's a section in there's a there's a arc in the comics at one point, I guess, where Scarlet Witch has amnesia for some reason. I don't remember the exact cause of it, but she's like working with Doom. But then there's also another variant of Sue Storm
Hmm.
who becomes Doctor Doom.
I don't think it's
And
that.
now, if well, no, hear me out. Because if you pay attention to the way that um, Franklin Richards, the baby, is reacting to the person kneeling down to him, it's almost like a mother and child bond. He's not afraid of her or them. He's not afraid of them. He's not attacking them. The only reason why that would be is if he knows that face. And whose face would he know in their universe?
True. But can I pick your mind on another maybe outcome?
Yes.
As we know in Fantastic Four, Frank Richards as a baby was already getting the amount of power that's like beyond human recognition.
Hmm.
What if that was an ability growth of knowing despair from Scarlet Witch because she lost her kids? Like, what if the
That could be a
kid
theory, yeah.
seeing the face, knowing that, like, oh, you must have lost someone? So then it's like, you know, comfort in a sort of way. I mean, it's like, it's,
Well, I say that the whole Sue Storm variant is because we've been told that supposedly maybe I think Doom in his universe was married to Sue Storm and they had a child. So I wonder, and I mean, this is the multiverse saga, so there's no full total. how they plan to do this or
Unless,
what they're.
unless Doctor Doom is just obliterating every multiverse to make just one of his own.
Yeah, I think it would be very interesting if we get um, the so-called Latverian witch isn't really a witch at all. It's just a variant of Sue Storm who lost her family or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh, well, if you're planning to like kind of restore my world, this could be an entire section where Doom makes a promise that he doesn't necessarily explain on,
Mm-hmm.
but kind of manipulates this version of Stu, where it just makes her think that he's gonna try and help save or like restore her universe so she has her husband and her child and whatever back again. So naturally, they would have the opportunity to basically help him aid in uh, his agenda or whatever. Who knows? I still personally think having it be Wanda just have like amnesia would be insanely cool because the moment I've watched Multiverse of Madness and saw the little like red glimpse of like power surge after Wanda like collapsed the temple,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she's been dead. I think maybe she accidentally teleported or whatever into or maybe dreamwalked into that version of herself in Doom's world and just has amnesia.
Or maybe Doctor Doom saved them.
Or that.
Like that. Anyway, it's coming out December 18th of this year. Right into the winter break. If you check your tickets, it's already sold out. So,
That
so
does not surprise me.
until probably mid of next year to maybe catch the movie, or just wait until it gets on. I don't know, Disney Plus. But
I'm
what's
probably gonna wait until it gets on Disney Plus.
before we slowly end this? So, what's your theory?
Oh, okay, yes. So Wakanda Forever. Just going into both films actually for Black Panther. I
Okay.
think the first one is a more spiritual journey for T'Challa.
Mhm.
For the second film, for Wakanda Forever, I think it's not a spiritual journey for Shuri because there's a section where she's supposedly in the astral plane talking to Killmonger. Now, there's a line in the dialogue that he says to her that got me thinking because he says to Shuri that, well, you've never truly believed in the ancestral plane, do you? And then follows that question up with, so then why did you take the herb? I think Wakanda Forever is an emotional journey into a spiritual one for Shuri. So in this scene, supposedly being taken place in the astral plane, after she takes the herb that she like the synthetic herb she created, I think it's her subconscious. It's not Killmonger, but
Uh,
her subconscious.
well, yeah. Actually, I agree with this because if you think
The,
of it more,
if you listen to the dialogue,
that too. But think of
there's a lot of responses from Killmonger that seems more like it's disbelieving than it is a spiritual response. And
it's
then you get where after that she creates her own suit, right?
mhm.
And it's like a mixture of both Killmonger's design with the gold and T'Challa's designed with the silver, while also adding on her own little touch. But another reason why I came up with this theory is because of the way that the flames started in
Okay.
the astral plane.
Mm-hmm.
Once Shuri was starting to get more aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
because once she started getting more aggressive to Killmonger, flames started appearing. So I'm I think that she wasn't necessarily talking to Killmonger himself. I just think that maybe emotionally and subconsciously, she believes that she's now in the astral plane, but subconsciously, she's choosing Killmonger as a representative to meet with because he says that, oh no, you chose me. And I think the reason why he has that response is because emotionally, Shuri is angry. She is in full rage because one, she's already lost her father.
Mm-hmm.
She then lost her brother.
Mm-hmm.
And then, not even long before that whole scene, she loses her mother, which is the very last bit of family that she knew was alive before the end of the film when she meets her nephew. So I think Shuri in this moment, speaking to Killmonger, is an emotional response subconsciously because of how much grief she is going through and how much rage she is suppressing.
All right. I'm down with that.
And another reason to add on to it is because there's sections of the movie where her mom is trying to like tell her about some of these spiritual like methods, and she doesn't get into it until like the very end of the film. So I think a lot of the film for Wakanda Forever is an emotional journey into acceptance spiritually for Shuri.
I wonder if Shuri's not had a lot of screen time,
That would be interesting.
or even Doomsday.
I if that is the case, I wonder if it's
And
her
probably not the new.
trying to like not train, but kind of like guide her nephew into becoming like the next Black Panther,
She
and also you think she's gonna die?
in the third, just the Black Panther movie.
I could see that.
Just because she's been like the actress herself, but I feel like just her. I mean, I know she finally got this, but since they got the new Panther, which is the Prince, it's gonna may it won't be that soon, but I feel like you're saying about ending characters, and Marvel's kind of trying to really enter a new chapter or a new phase or something.
Hmm.
That now we may be starting people to kind of not die on screen, maybe, but just like retire in a sort of way, you know, just to find a way to end characters. 'Cause I know probably in the
Well,
Doomsday.
I mean, half of the actors have been like around for like almost a decade or 2 decades. So I mean, naturally,
Like,
their contracts might be coming to an end, or two, they might just want to get ready to just call it end of an era for them as these characters.
yeah. Well,
I also am curious about um, Reed in this film or in these next upcoming films because we know Pedro Pascal has a history of characters that he plays who get killed off.
I don't think so. Not yet.
But I mean, not maybe not in Doomsday, but like in Secret Wars potentially.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, who knows?
Any more thoughts before we conclude?
Um,
Conclude.
well, what are your thoughts about my theory regarding the Black Panther, like Shuri's like astral
I mean,
plane inception?
it's not really a mind blowing. I would say because, like you said, emotionally she's there, but her mind it's grieving so much. Go to your murderous uncle to pop up,
Well, cousin, but yeah.
cousin, but your murderous cousin who went down the same path, and so yes, she finds a way to fight her inner demon to at least find a way to like yin and yang it in a sort of way based on the design. So I mean, it's not. I thought you were going to something about Prince T'Challa or something. I thought that you were going like some sort of approach, but you. I agree. Like the realization of the whole film for both was for her to go through spiritual grief, but at the end of it all, kind of try to become a new person now by seeing T'Challa to do what
See,
the rest
I
of
want to say like the first film is like a spiritual journey for T'Challa, and then you get, well, it's more spiritual for T'Challa, but then slightly emotional because of the fact that he's now finding out like certain truths that are being opened up. But then you get into like Wakanda Forever, and I think those two like things get reversed for Shuri. And then I feel like maybe in like the third film, it'll be kind of like a sense of both equally.
Mhm.
So I mean,
I guess my other thought I was thinking is why was T'Challa born in so secrecy?
yeah, nobody really actually explained
Like
that. I mean,
maybe
they do kind of explain it
like,
where it's just like they didn't want him growing up in the limelight of royalty.
I was just thinking like when when did she became pregnant? What
Yeah, like,
He appeared in dreams, but maybe not as much. At least they can give you a little sign. But why would they do it in such secrecy? It could be the
I'm
loyalty, knowing if there's a prince of the remaining Black Panther, some villainous person wants to end it in a sort of way.
I'm curious though if in the third Black Panther film we might get M'Baku embracing his title as Man Ape.
Hmm, okay.
Because in the comics that it like he's a villain. He's a Black Panther villain that goes by the name Man Ape. And it's basically representing like his tribe. Because if you've noticed in the first film, during that royal ceremony of like who wants to take the throne, M'Baku is wearing a mask that looks awfully a lot like a gorilla. And in the comics, he has like a whole like I don't know if it's like a suit or anything you could really say, but he's wearing like gorilla skin. So I think it would be kind of interesting if they kind of started opening up his like his villain arc like a little bit in the third film, and there could be like a civil war type thing going on in Wakanda, and that has to be something that T'Challa or well this T'Challa is gonna have to go through and try and like find a way to end it peacefully.
Hmm.
And then that'll like by the end of that film, he becomes the new like king of Wakanda.
But maybe by being birthed in secrecy, he can. take his teachings and make Wakanda, because as you know, Wakanda was like a cash grab. Want weapons? We got it. Want this? We got it. Want this, that,
Yeah,
but maybe he can find like some serenity or something.
I think that's also another reason why they had Wakanda Forever go into making like a synthetic version of the herb,
Hmm.
because we know that like vibranium is used for not even just weapons but medical usage. So I wonder, like, by the third film, they could expand on the more medical area and have it where, because we know that at the end of the first film, T'Challa, um, Chadwick's character, at least at the time, ended the film off with opening up the borders of Wakanda to help outside nations, at least like with their medical tech and whatever, to help with like wounded soldiers or something. So I'm curious if they might try and go back to that or something, maybe. I don't know. But I just think it would be really cool to kind of get a new version of. I'm also kind of curious, just in general, on how they're going to like regrow all the herb. Because I know that they did it synthetically, but like, are they going to try and make a deal with Namor and get more vibranium to use to make more of the synthetic herb?
I wonder if Killmonger can maybe with the act if Michael B. Jordan wants to keep going, because they could do some part of now older T'Challa talking to Killmonger to see if
Hmm.
just a scent of him is like a drop of blood, you could say, is in him as being, because as you know, when they fought, it was like brothers of pretty much that 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 Black Panther could have done the Killmonger route, and he
Yeah,
won. So it's like in a sort of sense, could Killmonger make another appearance? Maybe not just being like some demon sort of figure of sort, but like some kind of way of showing himself. And I just thought to make it very emotional if we can hear Chadwick.
dude, I would love for them to
And I feel like if they're going
mention
to use,
Chadwick again.
say again,
I would love for them to mention Chadwick again
at least like
to give him like another tribute.
mention him because, or I mean, because it's been since his death,
Yeah,
since his death. Um,
I personally did at first, before I watched Wakanda Forever. I didn't really like the idea of them making or continuing the film without Chadwick, and but then I watched it and kind of got it in like a feel for the storyline that they did for the film, and I was like, okay, you know what, this was pretty good, and I like that it was similar to like how Peter is with Tony. I feel like it was kind of like a mirror, like a reflection of Far From Home in a way. So I don't know, but we could definitely get into that like next week.
so before we actually officially conclude, I came to realize from our last episode, and we were so deep in Transformers, but there was some unfortunate passings recently. Well, let's go for the oldest one, the man, I guess the man, the myth, the legend, of the original Jurassic Park, who actually will make an appearance in the new Godzilla Kong movie whenever that comes out. You know the actor, right? Sorry, I should know it's
The
right there.
one that played Grant,
Yeah,
right?
Doctor
Yeah.
Grant. So he unfortunately passed. I mean, he was diagnosed with blood cancer. So I'm assuming.
I think a little after that, there was a couple other deaths that I've noticed. I don't remember one of them.
Well,
Um,
here's the recent one that's just a shattering one.
Yeah.
She was eight, 18 years old.
Mm.
She was deaf. She's a deaf actress who made her appearance in the recent Godzilla movie. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
she
the
died.
new, well, um, she started in Godzilla versus Kong, and then continued into the a new empire, I think it was called,
Yeah,
right?
she unfortunately died in a car accident in Maryland. She died on the way to the hospital.
See,
Um,
that's so young though. I mean, I know death doesn't have like a focus on what age, but like that has to be like at least what the youngest celebrity death in how long, at least?
that is that true though? I mean, it feels like it should be.
Because I don't remember
Well,
any
there.
actors or celebrities that were like 18 when they died.
I'm
Because like
searching.
all most of them are all like in their early 20s to like late 30s or 40s.
Well, just doing quick research. I mean, there was a couple that died in the late '80s and early '90s, but at least for the 2000 wise, Cameron Boyce, he died from a.
Wasn't he though like 22 or 23?
He died. No, he was 20.
Yeah, that's still older than Haley though.
Yeah, and then Brad Renfro in '08. Um, but yeah. I mean, as you said, I mean, this is this is quite saddening and shocking of incidents that even though accident or purpose, but just yeah, just unfortunate news, and just thought to share that. Meant to mean to last episode that we got too nerdy. Um, but yeah, I just thought to share at least that one because that was like, dang.
Yeah, no, that hit hard. Um, I think it hit I think it hit home for me because of the fact that I really started liking her um I started really liking her acting skills
Mhm.
in general because I mean as somebody who like I would expect somebody like her being like deaf in a world full of people that can hear and everything would be a
Yeah.
little more harder.
Hmm.
But the fact that she made it work and she did so very well, especially at a young age for her age, that is that's hard. I mean, it breaks my heart because of the fact that we could have gotten some more projects from her, and I'm sure they would have been very great, but we can't get into that. And I love the fact that she was also a representative to people that are deaf also, because I mean that gives them like an idol to look up to, you know. So I mean I wish we could have gotten more from her than just the two films that I've known her from.
Oh, lost contact, but yeah, it's just sad, and as you mentioned, just like wish we could see more of her, and yeah, but thought to at least share our thoughts on that, and we will conclude for today's episode. We'll conclude today's episode.